Welcome to BlackJack Sports. I'm Jackson Gerke alongside with Blake Lumberger, and it is a nice 80-degree day here in Augusta, and it's really nice on Blake Lumberger's um, special location as he is joined by the one and only and 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 the guy that I've known in college back in the past, where I where we were former students together, and the program that we were all together with in the years past. And he is one of my good friends and alum that I've known for a while, and he's one of my and, and I know him pretty good and know him, and we were friends together, and we went to the games together with them for college. And the one and only that the super fan and the one and only number one Gamecock fan that I've known, for him for him the one and only Evan Smith. Good good to be with you, Evan. I've never talked to you since we were in college together, or probably have talked to you ever since I have left South Carolina a couple of years ago, or since. Well, I haven't seen you since October in that game against Tennessee. But how are things since, Evan? And good afternoon to you, and I hope you're doing well. Doing good, doing good. We got a lot to talk about today, Blake. I mean, who thinks that I'm crazy? I've got to go against South Carolina, and South Carolina, as a matter of fact, I'm sorry, I'm pulling for South Carolina, even though I'm stuck here in Georgia, even though I'm not far from South Carolina. And I know, well, South Carolina hasn't had well, they haven't had a good winning season, but I think they can find a way to win the game against Georgia. They have been struggling in the last series. Well, they have been struggling against. Well, they have been struggling a little bit in the last series against Vanderbilt, and I think that South Carolina has got to find a way to get the hedges in a little bit. I think that if they do that, I think it'll be just fine. South Carolina should be able to have a chance if they are going to win this game. For South Carolina, um, I think it's still is it still Bentley? Oh, perfect. I think he would be their best fit for him. Listen, I do want to get to the South Carolina football team for a second, because I do want to talk about their upcoming season for a second. They have a tough games. They have a tough season this year, and what I'm seeing is they have to host Alabama in the midweek of September. Then they gotta, and then I know Appalachian State, and and then they host. They always host, and then they host Vanderbilt this year, since they were at Vanderbilt last year, and I went to that game while my brother had parents weekend that year and last year. And no, I was wearing cheer for South Carolina that day. And then they host Florida. They always play the big schools like Florida, Tennessee, and possibly Missouri. And then they host Clemson on the last day of November. And I think this is a big season for Will Muschamp. And when we were all in college together, South Carolina was never the same. I can remember when we were all in college together, when Spurrier was a coach. They had won 5 straight against Clemson. Since then, the program has been in a downfall, which means and the program has crashed, which which means it's falling into pieces, which is why South Carolina program hasn't been relevant since we were all in college together. And I think South Carolina, if they're ever going to find a way to prove that to be a program again, I mean, they're a rebuilding team right now. South Carolina just has to find a way to know what they're doing if they want to keep games close. Well, we have a shot, but it could make things interesting. But South Carolina could get a couple of touchdowns or two. Unfortunately, but it's not going to be enough because Clemson just has too much firepower. They have a very good quarterback coming out of the national championship win last season. They have a great coaching staff. That Mussolini is too good and he's too powerful. This team is way too much. Clemson's just too great of a football team, and I'm afraid South Carolina might lose this one. Yeah, and let's not forget because when Spurrier faced against Sweeney, it has been a close ball. It has been a close game ever since they were coaches. Since Spurrier had left, and I think South Carolina, the way that they're playing, is probably in a different way of how Muschamp runs things, and South Carolina is always going to find some ways to get the get the ball going, and I think they'll be just fine if they play good football. So so right now, let's see. All right, NBA. So yeah, yeah, it's really. I mean, what about it? I mean, it's just probably one of the craziest things that we're ever going to talk about in all sports. Zion Williamson was supposed to go to the Knicks. Instead, I know. What I'm trying to say is that once that I mean, they were in the war room in the back room there for the draft lottery. The deputy commissioner had made her selection, and instead it was the New Orleans Pelicans. So Anthony Davis will be headed to New Orleans, and I know, and it's followed by the I think it's followed by the Nuggets and the Suns, I think, in that order. So you know, I I did not hear anything about that, but it could likely happen if they get lucky. The Hawks did have two picks in the draft lottery, and they actually make things a little interesting. And 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 the Suns and the Nuggets, and then the Knicks get the third pick in the draft lottery, which means they'll probably draft R.J. Barrett in that order, and then all the other players who are drafted in that order are probably going to be predicted there. Oh, just the picks. June June 20th. Yeah, those state lottery balls, I call them. Yeah, he deserves a lot. I mean, he has. You watch him on film. He has played every single position. He's won. He's won every championship in high school except for college. Maybe if he goes to the NBA, I think. I think if he were to go to New Orleans and team up with Anthony Davis, let's say but let's say he stays in the Pelicans. I think my dad says that they aren't going to be a championship caliber team. Well, well, he's crazy. I think he's out of his mind. I Oh no, I think they can be teammates. How do you feel? I mean, would you really want that? No. Please don't tell me that's true. Please don't tell me that's true. Well, their current their current training campus their current training camp facility is in Spartanburg, so I think maybe Columbia might help the team a little bit better there. I mean, I think that's what Evan's trying to say. I think he might be onto something here. I mean, I feel like that might help the team a lot better because of that. I mean, I think Evans onto something, Blake. Rock Hills in South Carolina, so you know that area familiar well. So I think that's a little south of the city. That area I believe should be that I believe should be pretty comfortable for residents of South and North Carolina. I think I No, it's all Carolina in between. So teams from the north and south side can all attend, and I think it might be a little better convenient for them than it is in Spartanburg because of how far of a commute that is. I think it might be a little better for both sides to come. Now, 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 now that stadium is under construction right now, and it should be ready by the season for the 2020 season. So it will be very exciting to see their new stadium once it once it opens up, and it will be really exciting to see once football season starts here. Well, the Warriors are up 1 game to nothing over the Blazers. I know, and right now in the Eastern Conference side, the Bucks and the Raptors, where Giannis has just proven himself that he is unstoppable until they were down like a couple dozen at halftime, but then they came back in the fourth quarter and just put more put more buckets in, and then they just like get more they like make things a lot it interesting, and they like tied it up, and then they were up by two, and then and then in the fourth quarter and late third, it like the game like went back and forth in every possession. There were so many lead changes. It went until like late in the fourth quarter where the Raptors just couldn't make their shots. Kawhi Leonard played poorly in the fourth quarter, except in like mid third or in the first half where they played great. They just kind of like got a little tired, but then the Bucks just stormed back and they won that game. The Bucks are up 1-0. They'll have a chance in game two on Friday, and the Bucks are just finding their ways to win, and the Bucks have a 1-0 series lead. Yeah, I think you know what, Evan. I think the Bruins will sweep them, and I think in the other series, San Jose. How about a San Jose Bruins series? I think we could all be seeing a San Jose Bruins series once those teams both close out. And the Blues, I mean, in that series, in overtime, we never talk. I mean, we never talk little hockey, but the San Jose Blues series, I know, but in the Blues San Jose series, it was a controversial overtime goal that should have been ruled, but it counted, which means the Sharks advanced. It happened in a couple of series before that, and then the Sharks just surprisingly got the goal, and they're up 2-1 over the Blues, and the Sharks. But if the Sharks do continue this point goal series, they will go back to Stanley Cups for the second time in franchise history. Yeah, I think that's what I'm projecting right now, Blake. Yeah, that division is very interesting. The Phillies have been struggling with Bryce Harper because they lost the Brewers, and the last. I know, but his team is. I mean, I know, but the team's not struggling. But he's struggling a little bit because the Brewers have been really hot in that division, along with the Cubs and the Cardinals. The Braves, on the other hand, have been playing pretty well. They shut up the Cardinals last night. They're only 3 to 5 games back in that division. The Braves are just they're finding their ways, and I think the Braves and I think that they're just slowly and maturely taking a game at a time, and I think that's what they're doing. And I think the Braves are just hanging in there right now. I have, I had one time, and I went there during when my dad was. I went there one time when my dad was with what. You know what, Blake? Next time I'm going to be in Atlanta is on July 26th. So mark that on your calendar. Well, I'm going to this wedding with one of my Caroline's friends over there in Roswell area. So I think I think late July would be the perfect time for me to go. So mark that on your calendar, and it's and we're and we're going during that time. It's going to happen. Yeah, this guy is 23 years old, and I watched him on one of the Sports Center highlights, and he just only getting started, and he's just 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 throwing the balls and just pitching them and just playing his game, and I think he's and and yeah, I think that he's one of their best players on there since Brian McCann. So I think I think that I think that he is finding his way to get his team to win games quickly. So his team is just looking pretty good right now. Yeah, the Yankees. I know. I mean, the Yankees are one of are one of the great teams that has. I know that franchise and that organization has one of the most historic franchises in all of baseball, other than the Red Sox. And this team, I know. I worked with the Tampa Yankees for a couple of years down there with my brother when I was down in Tampa, and it's really one of the great farm systems that I was part of with the employees I did. There were all the different promotions and the different stuff that I did around the stadium, including when they had those bounce house and those little kids jumping around. It was one of the it was one of the funnest experiences that I've ever enjoyed in my life, and it was happened to be one of those one of those places that I've ever experienced as a sporting event that was that I had to be part of. So it was great memories down there. I enjoyed it. I moved on, and now I'm back here talking to you from only a short distance, and now I'm just here talking BlackJack Sports with you. Now we're talking about Zachary Bradley Jr. He's having a pretty good game. I mean, the Red Sox had just won an extra inning last night, and I think this team has just proven that they can find ways to win, and I think that they are looking pretty good right now. So I think the Red Sox are just find themselves only third, but they're just finding ways to close games out. And I think that I think that they can prove themselves to do it in any game. And I think that they can know what they can do at, 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 out on the field, that they can know who to go to, and they can prove that they can win any game. Yes, yes. Evan's been a good friend to me. I mean, we saw each other last in October when we were at the tailgate at South Carolina. I hope Evan's doing pretty well, and I hope we keep in touch with him whenever he comes on next, or see him whenever I can see him in person again. But it was a it was a great special day for me to see him on 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 this episode, and it was a really great and truly special honor to have him on there. And we thank him for having us on our show today, and hope that we get to see him again soon. And I hope Evan's doing well, and we hope to see him again soon. Um, Best of luck, Evan, and I hope to see you again soon. What? Yes, that's right. We're all Gamecocks alum, and yes, we're all Gamecocks alum for everything. And yeah, South Carolina is always going to be our home, and especially where we went to college at. And I hope that we have the best for the more memories to come. Thanks for having me, guys, and we'll talk to you again soon.